So welcome back everybody to the pit lane. Got a couple things that I finally got some free time, so you know what that means. Throwing on a bunch of car parts and fixing all the things that we have been neglecting. So today we're going to go through the main thing that I want to do is come into the engine itself and take off the auxiliary fan that's connected straight to the engine here, because there is a possibility that if you don't replace those and you let them go for too long, the plastic comes brittle and kind of starts breaking apart, and catastrophically, as it's spinning at RPM, will break apart and just take out everything that's next to it. So that would be the radiator, the expansion pump, some of the pumps, the expansion tank, kind of a little bit of everything. And the other good thing with it is when you replace it, it could give you a little more horsepower, but that's because there's not an auxiliary power coming off of the engine itself. But the main thing I'm going for with it is to make sure that it doesn't take out everything else in the engine bay. So we gotta come over here. We got some goodies that we're gonna be doing some shoots with as we go along, but this one right here, that's the one we gotta open with and see what's inside. So as we go through and pull off, Denny, what are you doing? Who's this? Do you want to tell them about what we're doing today? No? You just want pets? And you're just hanging out in the garage smelling everything? Yeah, that works. So we're going to pull off the auxiliary fan, but that means we have to replace it with something. So what we went and bought is an electric fan with a shroud on it itself. These come standard in the the manual transmissions or the ZF transmissions. So what I have is the SMG transmission. So what that entails is the manual auxiliary fan in the front, or the back of the radiator, apologize. No, do you want to see the light? He wants to be on camera. Who's this? Who's that? And so there's also an electric fan that sits in the front here of the grill, which we're just going to pull off too. So both of these fans are going to come off. There's connectors for the electric fan that's in the front that we're going to use to run the new fan itself. And where that's going to end up is back here where the connected fan is right now. So that means we got to pull off a bunch of stuff. The inlet for the air tank or the air filter, pull that all off, all this plastic in the front. And then also, you don't really have to do this, but I'm gonna do it because there's other issues that have been going on, and I'll show you why I'm doing it. But the front bumper's gonna have to come off too, because right now it pops off itself. So I'm gonna pull this off, make sure that it's actually on there correctly and that it doesn't fall off as we're driving down the road. But I'm gonna get started with all that stuff, pull off as much as I can, and then I'll be right back with you. So we've been clanking around on this a little bit, and like everything else that we do, there is a tool that I didn't know about until now, so we have to go out and get that, like every other video. But basically, this front bumper is only being held in by two really, really long torque bolts that I'll try to let you guys see really quick, that are stuck up underneath here in this little hole all the way up through there. And so I don't have a torque socket, so we have to go get one of those. We were able to get the air box out and the air dam in the front here. I did get the shroud for the current fan. So a little more about the specialty tool itself. You can borrow one from a friend, or I got this for like 30 bucks or so at like AutoZone. So it kind of gives you a quick little breakdown. Let me turn the light off so you guys can see that better. So it gives you a quick little breakdown of what it looks like when you go through. So you got the one that's actually holding the fan clutch in place, and then the other one is able to spin it off. So we're gonna follow that diagram as closely as you can. Now, I went out and purchased these because I was going back and forth on it, of just kind of trying to find a rental. Couldn't find them really anywhere, but they were selling them. So I decided to go ahead with these because I was reading some forums, and someone brought up the great point that if I use these one time and one time only, they have a second use of a blunt force weapon. So now I'm able to defend the garage too. So that's the reason I went through and actually purchased them. But let me get you guys set up on the top of the engine and then see what we can do with it. So to get the aux fan off, all you're gonna do is use the slotted side. So there's the drilled where the bolt goes on, and then there's the slotted where it goes in. That one's for something a different size. So this is for the e46. So you slide this one in, line it up with the extremity bolts that are on there. And it does help if you bend this one a little bit so you can get past the timing belt. So you get that on there, you grab the wrench, grab onto the big boy itself. And then, like I said before, it's reverse threaded. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is the exact opposite here. And I already got it off. So you just go back and forth, get it loose. You can pull these out. And then the rest of it is just spinning it off. So it takes a little bit of time, but it should come off itself. And there it goes. And then once you have the shroud and fan, all of it should be able to come out together. So there's the fan clutch itself, and then here's the shroud for it. So once again, that only had the little bolt on this side, and then it had a sticker on this side. Also, when you're pulling these out, there's some wiring on this side to make sure there's pull out. There's two connectors. So as long as you got those, everything should come out cleanly. And then now I have full access to the timing belts, everything. So I'll take a look at those, and the radiator itself is wide open now. So I'm gonna take a double look at that. So I was thinking before I run to the store, I'm gonna actually try to install the new fan itself. This is similar to the ones that are sold on the manual models. So the key to them, is what I heard, is on the bottom there's this little prong that sticks out, and what you're going to want to do is make sure that it lines up perfectly with this little slot down here right next to the heat exchanger. I think that's for the transmission. So it's going to line up with that, and then you're going to want to make sure you get onto these hooks too, and that's all it kind of really holds it in, and then we'll just screw it back in. There is an extra plug, since I haven't taken or deleted the front electrical fan yet. There's still the little plug here that you just kind of put off to the side, and there will be the additional one that's already preset on this one, because I'm going to hold on to both of these, because the motor that's running this fan is the same for this new one and for that one installed right there. So I'm going to try to pop this bad boy in nice and quickly. See if we can even do it with one hand. Nope. Alright, so I'm going to put you guys down so I can do this properly. So we're just gonna take this one, slide it in. Let's get past everything. Now I'm gonna need that light that you guys are holding for me. You guys are so thoughtful. Okay, that's on that side, that's in. And then on this side, it's going to take a little finagling and convincing. So we got the one side in, but I'm going to try to just move around the other side. It's not going to be much of anything to watch. But we got this guy in, and then I'm going to probably take a little bit of a breather and go get all the other tools that we need to pull off the front bumper so that we can get the other fan out and delete it itself. So I'll be back in a second. So we were able to get the new fan in. I'm really happy about it. It's nice and connected in there. Then all you got to do is take the connector, pop that bad boy on. So this is going to take the place of the front fan. So that's why we're pulling out the other one, because there's no electrical power that's going to go to it. And then it's going to have this extra connector. You can just wrap this up and make sure it doesn't really go anywhere. It's a different sensor for the front one that the back one doesn't need. So I'll put that away and put it in a better spot later. But the fitment of it, I'm really excited about it. Just put the screw back in and the other plug. But what was going on with the old one, the old shroud, you can see that it was like the water pump or something was actually rubbing on it. So it was cutting through with it. But now with the new motor planted around here, there's no chance of that happening. So probably throw this up on the internet somewhere. It looks like it's in decent shape still, so I can sell it and give it to somebody else that needs a fan clutch for their system. But I think that's going to be about it for today. I got to go out and get a couple more things, and then we got to just take the front bumper off to get the other fan and delete that one off the system. But when that's all done, just put it back together, and that's kind of all that we wrote on that one.